Thanks for tuning into this episode of Tech Tips. Today we're going to be talking about all the different mounting systems that are available from Griffin Armament for 1.375 by 24 threaded suppressors. That's becoming a very popular thread for the body of a lot of suppressors. And some people are referring to that as the hub, which is a hybrid universal base. Some people are talking about it as just the thread pitch, the 1.375 by 24. We kind of refer to it as a utility mount. So there's a lot of different nomenclature buzzing around, but this is becoming a popular mounting system for some suppressors. And Griffin Armament has 4 different options in this category. We have left to right the Explorer 224. We have the Bushwhacker 46, the Bushwhacker 36, and the Explorer 300. So those are the products from Griffin, the suppressor products that have this 1.375 by 24 mounting system in them. And we're going to be breaking it down for you guys in terms of what different mounting systems you can put in here, why you would do that, what types of guns you would do it with, what types of calibers, etc. So to start off, we're going to talk about the CAM-LOK system, and that's going to knock out these Explorers because these are rifle specific cans. But with the CAM-LOK system, why did Griffin Armament invent that? Well, we wanted to make a QD system, a quick detach interface for pistols. Really the biggest reasons were the traditional threaded piston breaks loose and people commonly get baffle strikes on those. Baffle strikes and end cap strikes. In our 10 years of processing and tracking historically customer service issues and returns, we noticed that pistol silencers had a 10 times more likely return rate than a rifle silencer because of the spring and the direct thread piston. So as you fired, the silencer, has that huge spring piston shift, and that just causes a lot of vibration in the system. Eventually that direct thread piston breaks loose because there's no locking feature there, and people commonly get baffle strikes and end cap strikes. You have to actually reach up with a traditional threaded piston and re-tighten the silencer every like 5 to 7 rounds as you're shooting to make sure that it's staying tight on there. So what the CAM-LOK did is it put a taper interface on the adapter and the inside of the piston to lock up the suppressor or the piston to the barrel. And then it also provided, which was probably the most important feature, and then it also provided a 3-lug series of threads there so that you can very quickly attach it. And so if you're going to attach this, you're going to need a CAM-LOK piston as well as a silencer that will run said piston. And I have in front of me a Bushwhacker piston assembly, the 1.375 by 24 assembly. And I'm just going to use our pistol wrench to install this retainer over that, and then throw this into the rear of the can. And with all these mounting systems, you're going to want to just hand tighten it and then follow it up with the wrench. So for this one specifically, I'm going to use the 3-prong wrench on our pistol armor's wrench and just give that a nice tight squeeze. And then from here, I can show you how easy it is to mount this. You just throw it over and give it a little firm twist. And now you're on. In our experience, we've fired 200 to 300 rounds without the silencer breaking loose with CAM-LOK installed, just by giving it just a firm little squeeze when you're kind of setting it. You'll feel it kind of squeeze up, and then it becomes very solid, and essentially you don't have to worry about it loosening up. Now I believe our customer service folks are still recommending that people do check the suppressor to make sure that it's locked onto the CAM-LOK every magazine or something like that, just out of caution. But in reality, with practical testing, we haven't had to do it for hundreds of rounds. Now the cool thing about this system too is that if I fit it up to this Bushwhacker 46, for instance, I could shoot this on a 45 ACP pistol, and then I could move it to a 9mm pistol like the Glock I've been showing you, without having to take it apart and get my hands dirty and potentially lose a part on the range in the grass or something like that, and just have this whole tackle box full of parts. So you can go from handgun to handgun very quickly with this system, which is really neat. So next we're going to be talking about the EZ-LOK system, which is a derivative of this. But the EZ-LOK system not only fits up on pistols like the CAM-LOK, but also rifles, which is really cool. So the EZ-LOK system is a lot like the CAM-LOK system in that it still has these nice little adapters. It looks basically the same. The only difference is that instead of a 3-lug attachment system, it has a single thread around the adapter. And some people prefer that just because it's a little bit easier. So to mount up the EZ-LOK system, you're going to have to choose your EZ-LOK piston. Then you'll assemble your booster housing, which I've already done, and screw that into the rear of the suppressor. I've got a Bushwhacker 36 right here, which is perfect for a 9mm. And I'm just gonna double check to make sure the retainer's nice and tight and the booster housing is nice and tight on the pistol. And now I'm ready to run it. And the same way as the CAM-LOK goes on, just throw it on there and thread it on. And this takes about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, something like that to install. So, still much faster than a traditional piston, which takes about 9 seconds in our testing to install. So, a factor of 4 faster than that or more, but not quite as fast as the QD of the CAM-LOK, the 3-lug CAM-LOK. So a little bit of a difference, but a lot of people are liking this EZ-LOK system. It gives you that same taper interface that gives you that freedom from baffle strikes and end cap strikes, so you don't have to worry about screwing up the suppressor. So it gives you that solid mount to the pistol. And the coolest thing about the EZ-LOK, which I really like, is that you can also run it on rifles, and it gives you just a super small mounting system on rifles. And so I'm going to switch that over for you quick, pulling out the booster housing and throwing in the 1375x24 threaded EZ-LOK direct mount. And tightening that up. It has a 3/4 inch socket on the back of it to tighten that up. And so now I have this little 527 CZ, which is a 7.62 by 39 caliber firearm. And you can just see how small and compact this EZ-LOK barrel adapter is. So really nice and lightweight and compact. So if you have varmint rifles, if you have, nice little, compact firearms like this, and you don't want to put a big honking muzzle brake on there, the EZ-LOK is a really great product for that. And so this is the Bushwhacker 36 with that EZ-LOK direct adapter on there. Just, screw it on there, give it a nice firm twist. It has great accuracy, great rigidity, and it's just a really basically like a micro taper mount, essentially. It's very small and compact. So there you have that. We have different thread pitches, different calibers. There's all kinds of additional product information, obviously, on Griffin Armament's website, so hit that up for any specific questions that you may have. But that is the EZ-LOK system. Next, we're going into the 3-lug system. The 3-lug system. So we have a 3-lug kit at Griffin Armament, which is essentially universal to Griffin's suppressors. There's not a specific 3-lug kit for the 1375x24 interface. There's not a specific 3-lug kit for a pistol silencer or an Optimus or anything like that. So there's only one 3-lug kit at Griffin Armament, and it fits all the silencers that essentially you'd want to put it on. The Resistance, the Revolution, the Optimus Micro, as well as these Bushwhackers in front of me. So really great product in that it's so useful and diverse and versatile. But what we're going to do is install this quick in this booster housing and then show you how it fits to this Uzi. So starting with the 1375x24 booster housing, I'm going to take my assembly of the 3-lug kit, which is the rear snap interface retainer, the bushing, and the spring. And keep in mind that there are two different bushings. There's a 9mm bushing and a 45 ACP bushing. And the difference is that the internal hole is a different diameter. So there's a smaller internal hole for the 9mm couplers, and there's a larger one for the 45. So we put that in there, put the spring on there, dump this in here, and I can just kind of screw this together by hand quickly. Drop it in here. And then follow it up with our pistol armorer's wrench. And just give it a nice tight squeeze there, and now we're mounted up. And what's cool about this, as you can see, is that the 3-lug kit adds no additional length to the standard booster piston that you put on your pistol. So we call it a low profile 3-lug kit, but it's essentially an integral kit. 10 years ago, before this existed, there was these huge extension 3-lug modules that you put onto the suppressor that made them quite longer. But this is a really nice compact integral solution. And so we have a Uzi here with a 1/2x28 Griffin 3-lug 9mm mount on it. And I've got the 9mm bushing in here. And as you can see, it's very easy to mount. You just pull this silencer back over the 3-lug and overcome the spring pressure by pulling rearward. Twist it a little bit, and then it'll snap when it's in place, when it's locked. Now you can do your shooting, and when you're finished and the silencer is cool, just pull back again, grab it and pull back, and snap it again, and it'll pop right off. So really pretty simple system that obviously is a derivative from the old MP5 from the 60s, but still much in use today. Very cool system. There's a perfect application for your submachine guns like this, but we also use it on lever action 357s. You can put it on a AR-15 pistol caliber carbine, which is cool. If you want to run a silencer under the handguard, the 3-lug is really cool for that, for PCCs. So quite a bit of application for the 3-lug, and just a really nice, robust mounting system that's perfect for the little 9mm and thereabouts firearms. So next we're going to be getting into the A2 system. So the A2 mount. Griffin has made A2 mounts for years. We recently made a 1375x24 A2 mount. So it's not the same one that you'd put on the Optimus, which most of Griffin fans are aware of. So it's a specific one to the 1375 interface, but it is the same otherwise, other than that. So I'm gonna put it on this Bushwhacker 36 here. I'm gonna take the rear coupler, and again, just screw it in by hand. And this is one of those mounting systems where you're gonna need the spanner wrenches. So you're gonna interface those on the mount and the tube body. And once you have those on there, you're just going to squeeze those wrenches together nice and tight. And that will make sure that the mounting system doesn't come off on you. From there, you're going to take the rear of the A2 mounting system, the collar, and slip it over the A2 muzzle device and put it into the rear BFA groove, the blank firing adapter groove. And then from there, put the silencer over the muzzle device and just screw those together. And from here, we actually machined 3 little slots in the rear of the collar so that you can use your 3-prong stock wrench and a spanner tool to get extra torque on these things. And I can just do it quick by hand here and show you guys that once this is together, this is essentially a compression mount. So it's not a QD system. You know, it does take a little while to install, but what it provides is a really robust mounting system. If I twist this, it's really hard to twist because it's compressed so hard, so well. So it's a very solid mount, it's very accurate, and it allows users to fit 1375x24 threaded suppressors up to, you know, old kind of classic AR-15 collections that you may have. with an inexpensive A2 birdcage flash hider. So if you want to, you can also use the Griffin flash comp or the Griffin hammer comp options if you want a higher quality, more high performance muzzle device. But most people are probably running these on A2s. They may fit on other companies' A2 styled mounting systems. It's possible, but we really manufactured this for the mil-spec A2 birdcage, which most of the prominent firearms companies that have been around for a long time, like Remington, Bushmaster, Smith & Wesson, they're making devices that are within that tolerance range. So just another cool mount that's very solid, that allows you to be able to enjoy your old, classic AR-15 collection. So next we're going to be moving to the DUAL-LOK mounting system and show you that. All right, so I have a DUAL-LOK system installed in this Explorer 224 in front of me. The thing to know about the DUAL-LOK system is it does take a little bit of nuanced, understanding, and we ship a little installation card instructions with the 1375x24 DUAL-LOK mount, as well as the suppressors. Obviously read that, get a good understanding of it, but I'm going to break it down for you really quickly here. And essentially there's two different positions for this mounting system. Right now it's in the locked position that would be on your firearm, and if you push this collar down and twist it to a neutral position, that's unlocked. So locked and unlocked. There's actually a total of 3 positions really, because there's 2 locks on it. So it's a lock on one side, it's the neutral position in the center, and then it's another lock on the other side, hence DUAL-LOK. The muzzle devices feature splines on the rear of them, which interacts with prongs inside of the collar. And so that's your retention system, your active retention system. And there's a taper on the front of the muzzle devices in front of the Acme thread there, which provides you with the accuracy and the solidity, the rigidity of the attachment. So that's pretty much how that works. Again, this is one of those devices that's going to require the use of the spanner tools to interact with the suppressor and give it a nice, squeeze to install it. So I have a Griffin Mark 1 in front of me. We're going to first mount it up here quick and just show you kind of how that works. But you just pull that collar back, spring that open, move it to its neutral position like that. You'll notice that these 3 prongs are proud of the rear collar, which indicates that it's unlocked. Then you can just put it on the muzzle device, tighten it up, make sure it's tight. And one thing to note is that when this is tightened, typically only one of the 2 positions will lock. So that position locks. You can see that the collar is flush with the rear of the silencer, which indicates that it's locked. And if I go to the other position, it's not locking. And the reason why is that the 2 dual locking positions are actually machined 3 degrees out of phase. So the 60 splines on the muzzle device actually becomes 120 locking positions. And what that does is it allows you to have an extremely rigid, very tight silencer, because it gives you that finite amount of attachment, which is nice. But we do not want to really shoot it here. We want to shoot it obviously on the locked side that locks. And it'll always be like that as well. So you don't have to figure that out more than once on your firearm. So now that I've unlocked it, I can just twist it right off. So very simple. Another thing to note about this mounting system is that for an active locking mount like this, it's very compact and lightweight. It's only about 1 inch long overall length and about 2 ounces in weight. The mounting system does not have any metal on metal ratcheting or wear prone components, so it is not recommended that users try to take it apart or anything like that. It's pinned together from the factory with tapered splined pins, and it's essentially not user serviceable because it doesn't need to be user serviceable. The only thing that you would want to do on this, and that goes for any mounting system, is make sure that you brush the internal bore of it, with bristle brushes, brass brushes, stuff like that. Keep it free of excessive carbon buildup. But other than that, there's really no maintenance that's needed. So that covers DUAL-LOK. We have a variety of different mounting systems for that. At the filming of this video, we have the minimalist flash hider, the tactical compensator, as well as a titanium and 17.4 stainless nitrided minimalist brake, and a 2.25 inch stealth flash hider that is pre-drilled actually for pinning and welding. So quite a few different options there. Another thing to know about most of these, actually all of these mounting systems and the suppressors that you're seeing in front of you today, is that they're made of 17.4 stainless steel, which is a really robust, high heat resistant stainless steel with a Rockwell hardness in the mid 40s. So extremely high quality materials. Definitely don't scrimp on materials when you purchase suppressor accessories or suppressors, because these are typically lifelong investments. They're hard to transfer to another user. So you're going to want to make sure that when you purchase something, you're purchasing something that's made of good materials. So moving on from DUAL-LOK, we're going to talk about the taper mount system. All right, so next up is the taper mount system. The taper mount system is one that Griffin Armament has manufactured for the longest period of time throughout the company's history, and that's for several reasons. One, it's a affordable system due to its lack of complexity. Two, it's also a extremely reliable and easy to understand system due to its lack of complexity. So essentially, the taper mount is a 1-inch thread with a taper behind the thread, and the taper is very precisely machined both into the muzzle device as well as the mounting systems and the suppressors that we manufacture them for. There's a lot of qualification inside the machine to minimize the run out on the taper to very little. I believe it's something like a couple 10,000ths of an inch off axis is where they're machined to. So they're extremely accurate mounting systems. A lot of care is taken to ensure that. So they have typically the best accuracy, lowest point of impact shift, and so they're just really great mounting systems. And all of them are made out of 17.4 stainless steel, other than one titanium option that we have. So they're all, again, made out of that very high grade material. So in front of me, I have the current taper mount family line, and that includes two different mounting systems, both a Plan A XL, which is about 1 inch longer than the original Plan A, and then we have the Plan A, which is the least length added unit, which I believe only adds about 0.2 of an inch to the length of the unit. The Plan A XL will fit the Griffin flash comp, the Griffin tactical compensator, as well as the 2.25 inch long flash hider. So if you want to use any of those three devices, you're going to have to run the XL in the majority of our silencers. For the rest of the line, such as the linear compensator, the Paladin 2-port brake, the hammer comp, the minimalist flash hider, and minimalist muzzle brakes, and the EZ-LOK, those things will fit with the standard Plan A on our suppressors. So there you have it. The mounting system is very easy to install. The original Plan A has the spanner notches on it, so you're going to see those on this Explorer. I've mounted this Plan A up into an Explorer 300, and you're going to have to use that same method of install where you place the spanners, wrenches on the tube body carefully and grip these and bring these together and just tighten them up so it's nice and tight. Once that's done, I have a firearm here with a Griffin taper mount on it, and this has the easy brake on it actually. And I'm just going to put the suppressor on here and simply screw it on. Now when it hits the taper, you'll feel it kind of smush a little bit, and that's what you want to feel. Just give it a nice little firm twist beyond that to immobilize the unit, make it nice and rock solid. You don't have to go nuts on these things and go crazy on them. Once they're snugged up, essentially they will not fire loose. We've tested that pretty extensively to include even belt-fed machine guns, and there has been no issues with that. So very nice mounting system. While it does not have an active lock like the DUAL-LOK system, the taper mount is a passive lock, which still gives you very, very good security, but obviously you can reach up and just unscrew the silencer when you want to, making sure that it's cooled to room temperature. So pretty simple mounting system there. Very easy to understand, and one that we manufacture really the most of, just due to the amount of accessory support and the longevity that we've supported it for. So direct thread. This really doesn't need a whole lot of explanation. We have a 1/2 by 28 and a 5/8 24 direct thread mounting systems for the 1375 by 24 suppressors. They have a 3/4 inch wrench flat on the back, a socket, and they're very high quality machine parts that take the spanner tools that we have for our products. But that's pretty much all that needs to be said about that. I'm personally not a huge fan of the direct thread mounts, just because they don't give you that added security that the taper mount does, that the DUAL-LOK does, that the A2 does, that the 3-LOK does, that all these products do. So this is a mounting system where you do need to ensure that the silencer is tight, and you do oftentimes need to check the tightness of it as you're using it throughout the day. So that's why I'm not a big fan. However, I understand why people do buy these things. You know, maybe you have a huge gun collection. Some people, you know, especially old families, maybe they have 100 or 200 different firearms, and they want to make sure that they don't have to buy muzzle devices and spend all kinds of time, you know, fitting up all their firearms. And for that purpose, you know, these are a great fit. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video on the Griffin mounting systems. We covered CAM-LOK, EZ-LOK, 3-LOK, A2, DUAL-LOK, taper mount, and direct thread. We have a ton of different mounting systems. They all have a little bit of a different, you know, feature subset and application, but they all are great, and they all do fit in the industry. And they've taken, you know, 20 years to, you know, really develop to the state that they are today. But hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions at all, feel free to hit up customer service. Also DM us through the social channels if you'd like. And if you like this video, please share it with a friend. Please follow us on our socials, IG, Facebook, etc. And if you want more videos like this, or cool tips and tricks, or even sales opportunities on Griffin products, go to griffinarmament.com, put your email into our newsletter, and we'll send more of this stuff at you. Not all the time, because we don't want to inundate your inbox, but infrequently you'll get some little notices and things like that. Hope you guys had a great day, and happy shooting.